Good morning. I'm just going to wait a few seconds for folks to join on LinkedIn. It just takes a while for the live stream to catch up. Good morning. Today's lead story in the New York Times is about how President Donald Trump has tried to effectively deflect responsibility for the leak that happened late last week, I think, in a Signal app, in a group chat of war plans. You will remember from yesterday that this was, a story that had broken in the Atlantic. The guy who broke this is a journalist. He's the editor of the Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg. Now, Jeffrey Goldberg is not a left-leaning radical. After college, he went to Israel, where he ran a prison for a while. So this is a fairly right-of-center dude. Now, that's important because it explains why one of Donald Trump's security advisors might have had his cell number in his phone, and even though he's denying that now. And it also explains why he might have added into his Signal group with his mates, the defense secretary, secretary of state, and so on, while they were discussing war plans. A couple of big things yesterday. Donald Trump's sort of standard playbook here is deny, deflect, attack, and that's what he did. He denied that the information shared was classified, even though it was evidently classified because it involved war plans. And multiple national security advisors are quoted in the story saying that that's obviously the case. The president can retroactively declassify material, which it sounds like is something he's done here. Although when I hear the word classified, all I think of is that movie RoboCop, where the robot cop has a classified directive, which is that he can't harm the people who created him. It's a good movie. You should see it. It's relatively utopic compared to our current situation in the news, but there you go. Other things that have happened. So there's the denial. The deflection is that Trump has basically said, well, this was Michael Waltz, who's his national security advisor. And what I think they're doing is setting up Michael Waltz to take the fall for this, probably early next week, once the story is blown over. It might also affect Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, who's had an appalling run of luck lately. He's a violent drunk, remember, who was only narrowly confirmed because Donald Trump threatened to run someone against the senators who were skeptical about his appointment. But unfortunately, Pete Hegseth has exhibited the bad judgment of somebody who has an alcohol problem and some temper issues. For example, he was setting up a military briefing for Elon Musk on war plans with China last week. Donald Trump didn't know anything about it. And it was only when the New York Times reported on this planned briefing that Donald Trump cancelled it. I suspect that if you were Pete's boss, you might be growing a little bit impatient at this point. But again, Donald Trump doesn't want to be seen to fire somebody he's hired. And so he might allow this man to continue in the role, overseeing an $850 billion budget. For context, that's about 2.5 times Elon Musk's net worth. It's a good sloppy story. The Democrats have piled on. They've started calling for resignations that they may or may not get. Nice to see them out and active for a change. Other things in this story that were significant, I would say. I think Mr. Goldberg's refutation has been good. He's effectively just said they're wrong. They called him a sleaze bag yesterday. Said he's sort of part of a sinister misinformation scheme. But everyone agrees that he's been fully accurate, and he's pretty unimpeachable as a journalist. Again, his time running in Israeli prison may not be to my taste, but he's certainly not Glenn Greenwald. The question is, how long does this go? It's Wednesday, right? Story gets bigger by tomorrow. If it gets bigger on Friday, and then on Meet the Press on Sunday, if it's still blowing, if Donald Trump starts feeling the heat personally, that's when he fires people. And that's what John Bolton, his former national security advisor, has said. If Donald Trump starts feeling the heat and it doesn't go away over the weekend, he will fire whoever he needs to fire. You know, it'd be nice to see him fire somebody. He did say yesterday we've had 2 perfect months, and that's why they're coming for me on this. I would say that the first 2 months of Donald Trump's administration have not been perfect. And if you want to have a look at some of the possible reasons why I think that, you're welcome to look at the written version of this newsletter. Although, again, I'm happy to read the newspaper so that you don't have to. And you might just want to enjoy your day. Thank you for your time reading the newspaper with me so that you don't have to. I appreciate you. I'm Matt Davis. I'll be here every day reading the newspaper so that you don't have to. Take it easy, and I'll see you soon.